Hello and welcome to the Bristol Herald Courier's new podcast, Beyond Bylines. My name is Robert Sorrell. I'm a reporter here at the Bristol Herald Courier. And today we're going to talk to Alicia Phelps. She's the executive director at the Northeast Tennessee Tourism Association. Thank you for coming today.
Absolutely.
Great. Please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yep. My name is Alicia Phelps, and I have been with Northeast Tennessee Tourism for quite some time now. I've been in the tourism industry for more than 15 years, and then I've been with Northeast Tennessee Tourism, I'm going on 9 years now. Before that, I worked in Jonesboro. I did their tourism program there. Before that, I worked at Emory & Henry, and I worked in their PR office there.
That's great. And for listeners who may not be familiar with NETA, or Northeast Tennessee Tourism Association, can you tell us a little bit about what that is and how it impacts the region?
If you've been around long enough, you will know that NETA is what we all like to call it, and that stands for Northeast Tennessee Tourism Association. And so we are what you would think of as a destination marketing entity for the entire region. So the easiest way to explain that to folks is we're the house, and each of the 8 counties that we serve, and some have 2 tourism offices. There's about 10 tourism offices in Northeast Tennessee, and so we're the house, and each of those rooms in the house are one of the cities or counties that we work with. So it could be Rogersville, Elizabeth and Carter County, Kingsport, Bristol, Johnson City, and the list goes on. And so what we do, a lot of times folks that live here are not familiar with what we do because we reach outside markets. We are not advertising locally because those are our residents, and we leave that up to the great businesses and chambers and all the folks here. But we're reaching outside of our area. Typically, it's 3+ hours away to get folks to come here for business or leisure travel. And we work alongside those tourism offices to get those feet in the door and those heads in the beds and come to events and things like that. We also serve as a legislative liaison for the tourism and hospitality industry in Northeast Tennessee. So we're right in the middle of session in Nashville. So lots of trips up there to work on things and advocate and lobby for things that will affect our industry as a whole. And so we also work with individual businesses that are in tourism and hospitality, in marketing, and ways that hopefully we can help them grow as we all grow.
Okay. And how would you describe the current state of tourism in the region, and I guess what is bringing people here?
Yeah, I think the industry is great right now. We're almost at $930 million spent annually by visitors in Northeast Tennessee. We hope to reach $1 billion in the next couple of years. And as fast as we've seen growth, it could be 2 years, maybe even next year. But obviously with Hurricane Helene, that affected half of the county. So it was a really weird situation when you have our larger economic driver communities coming forward, but then you also have our beautiful rural communities that were hit. And so they're still recovering from that. But with that, we've seen an increase in tourism in like the Bristol, Kingsport, Johnson City community. So it does even out, but the state of the industry right now is great. It's very economy dependent. So if you think back to the pandemic, overnight, we shut down, and that meant that the tourism industry shut down. And so the bounce back has taken a couple years, but man, when they turned the lights back on, they really looked to tourism to help drive the economy, and that is what we did. So right now it's great, and we're hopeful for even more growth.
You mentioned the 3 cities as a big part of the tourism drive in the region. How does the local tourism affect smaller communities, places like Piney Flats, like Fall Branch? Or
absolutely. So, once folks get here, once a visitor gets here, they don't see city or county lines. And so those smaller communities, they're the heartbeat. We know that they have some amazing attractions like the Deary Inn in Blumpville or the open music gyms. Those are those things that like the locals go to, that, oh, I'm a visitor and I just heard about this underground music bluegrass event that takes place with the locals. That's what they want to see and do. Or even like the Holston Heritage Museum or Hale Springs Inn, stuff like that. Those are what also drives. And so it's a really detailed mix of the large attractions like Bristol Motor Speedway, Tannery Knobs Mountain Bike Park, to the small ones. When people come here, they want to mix, and it just works out because all of our tourism communities seem to work together really well. And so that's how we all market together through Northeast Tennessee Tourism.
And tourism is bringing a lot of money into the region, probably a lot more than some people expect.
Absolutely.
How do the cities gain from tourism, especially with the lodging tax and hotel
So
tax?
a lot of times you hear about visitor spending and lodging taxes, and I just left the Explore Bristol Visitor Center, which is a great product from those lodging taxes. I think what folks don't realize is lodging taxes are so restricted. They cannot be used by the general fund in a city or in a county. And so when you have those visitors coming in and spending the night, that's what funds our industry, and it can't be spent on, paving a road or, anything like that. It has to be put back into tourism marketing through the official destination marketing entity. Now, that's restricted, but what's not restricted are the sales tax dollars. And so when I mentioned $930 million, that's lodging taxes in that, but so is sales tax. That's huge, and that's major to some of these smaller communities too. That's not restricted, and so we work hand in hand with a lot of the communities and the cities and the counties on that to make a positive return on investment. And we try to look at hopefully like a 20-to-1 investment. So when you spend $1, you're going to have $20 coming back in through that visitor spend.
Okay, I wanted to talk about Sullivan County a little bit, since they have provided some money to NEDA through that tax.
Yeah.
How do you use that money to bring tourism to the region?
Yeah. So it's a really great relationship that we have with Sullivan County. We currently have an agreement with the county, Visit Kingsport and Explore Bristol, and Northeast Tennessee Tourism. And so the Sullivan County currently retains 50% of their lodging tax dollars, and that goes through their archives department. And then the other 50% does come to Northeast Tennessee Tourism, and then we split that with Explore Bristol and Visit Kingsport. And so Northeast Tennessee Tourism is responsible for the countywide destination marketing that goes to those outside markets like Florida, Dallas, Chicago, Nashville, and then Visit Kingsport and Bristol hone in on those specific cities, because we know that pretty much all the hotel rooms and overnight stays are taking place in those cities. And so it's a detailed mix, but it all seems to pan out and work well together. And then we're just creating more visitor spending and awareness about Sullivan County and about those communities there.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about tourism and the destinations that we have in the region. First, what are visitors coming to the Tri-Cities region, Northeast Tennessee, to see?
What do you think they're coming for?
Probably a little bit of everything.
It is. So we are known for the outdoors. We're where the Smoky Mountains meet the Blue Ridge. It's just this wondrous, beautiful area. I mean, my goodness, the rhododendron gardens in Carter County. I mean, that is internationally known. So we have those destinations like that, the outdoors. Most miles of the Appalachian Trail in Tennessee are in Northeast. So it's really cool to have that. But then you also have, hopefully this year we'll have whitewater rafting come back. That's a big deal for us as well. But they're also coming here for the culture. They're coming here for the music, birthplace of country music. Johnson City has a really cool underground punk scene. So it's neat. And we're in the middle, and February is Tennessee Songwriters Month. So the music's a big deal. The culture, the history. Oh my gosh, the birthplace of American freedom here in Carter County, Elizabethton. David Crockett Birthplace State Park is rebuilding. So we've got a lot of assets, which sometimes makes our job hard because, if you're marketing Nashville Music City, you know what you're going there for. Here, we've got a lot of things that we're known for. And so we really try to hone in on those niche markets of people with those specific interests and market directly to them. But, one of my favorite things that people come here for is the food and drink. So just that Southern home style food, moonshine, whiskey, things like that. And also just the people. I think once we get a visitor here, they're probably going to come back, and a lot of them end up moving here, right? So, but it's the people that they open the doors, they smile, they make eye contact. You don't find that in a lot of places.
So you mentioned earlier that you try to get people from at least 3 hours away from the region. How do you do that?
Yep, it's a big mix. So, we all know our cell phones are tracking us. So we look at a lot of cell phone data. We look at a lot of credit card data. We look at zip codes. We see who's coming to festivals and events and downtowns and things like that. We see who's making purchases and staying overnight. So we look at all that data. And then we do a big mix of marketing, and it could be digital, social media is huge. We do a ton of internal blog writing because we feel like who knows the area better than locals and tells that story better. And so just sharing that open, honest story about the area, that's always really popular. We're on all the social media outlets at Northeast 10, TENN. And then we do geofencing. So I really love, there's been a lot of buzz about some of the new flights coming into the area. So we love geofencing gates in airports, and say you're sitting there waiting for your flight. Maybe you're not coming to Northeast Tennessee right now, but maybe there's a direct flight through that airline. We'll geofence it and send them an ad. Search engine is big. We're just all over the place, and it seems to be ever changing. Print's not dead either, by the way. So, and I know you know that.
That's good to know.
So, we do a lot of print advertising, a lot of magazines, and then we also love to work with content creators and bring them here so that they can experience it as well.
Good. So, what challenges do you face in doing all of that?
It's a lot. Always, always finding the money to do that is a lot. Always, I think for me, being a local to the area, I don't want to oversell. I don't want to see us become overrun with visitors. I want some of our secret spots to remain that way, that the locals know about. I don't want to sit in traffic. So we do that to concentrate on sustainable tourism and growing at a good pace with attractions and offerings and experiences. And, that's difficult sometimes. The hardest thing, I think, is we have so many things to market. It's hard to pick just one. So, recently we posted a couple things and created a program around the Tennessee Night Sky, a night sky trail. With spots where you can go see the stars in our area that is free. And, that's great. But then I think, okay, well, gosh, should we have been marketing some of our great distilleries? So then we'll do a distillery trip. So it's hard to pick just one thing. And I think that's very, very difficult. But it's also really fun because I learn things every day about our community that I didn't know about.
Right. So do you have a favorite campaign that you've done since you've been at NETA?
Yes. My favorite thing that I've done, we did it 2 years ago, and it was called Bootleggers and Burnouts. And it is a trail featuring our racing history, our moonshining history. And so it features a lot of our distilleries, our local distilleries, and then it also features spots throughout Northeast Tennessee that have to do with cars, racing. Obviously Copperhead Road is here, and so that's great. And so that was a really fun passion project for me because those are two things that I just absolutely love and am interested in. I learned so much doing it. Like Andrew Johnson had a horse race in Irwin. Who knew? So, and there's a historical marker there. But that's been really fun. And what was eye-opening about that is that campaign, while it was super popular, and we still run it, it was super popular with men, but women came out in the masses and wanted more information and to book travel for it. And to me, that was really fun because I'm a woman, and to see, there are, females interested in this too. That was a really fun, eye-opening market that we hope to continue to work with.
Do you work with online influencers, say those who are on TikTok and different outlets?
Yeah.
How does that work? And
that's fun. We get requests all day, every day. We vet them. So we won't just bring anybody here. And it's got to be somebody that can resonate with our audience because, our audience isn't going to be the same person that wants to go to Miami for the weekend, right? But we vet them. They've got to be very reputable. They've got to represent ethics, and they've got to work with brands that we know are solid and reputable. And influencers are a new and fun market. We develop itineraries for them, and one that we're bringing here for the spring race, they're called Explore Nash. They've been to Kingsport before. You develop relationships with these people, and they become fans. And another one is Backroads and Burgers. They're out of Mississippi. I've known them for probably 7 or 8 years. We were the first outside of Mississippi destination that they came to, and we've just stayed in touch and become friends. And those are meaningful, as opposed to the ones that just come in and leave and you don't really get to know them.
Mm-hmm. And I want to talk a little bit about the America's 250 campaign, since this is the 250th anniversary of the United States. Tell us a little bit about that and how it is, I guess, going to be celebrated in Northeast Tennessee.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of planning underway, and we have a lot of amazing sites like Rocky Mount State Historic Site, Amy Mill out near Rogersville and Bluntville, and there's a lot of plans in the works for that, and I think even some festivals and special events. So stay tuned. I know that, it seems like it came about so fast, but we've only been waiting 250 years for it, right? But it's really fun. I'm a big history buff, and it's going to be fun to just kind of see how our region played a role in that. And I think it also, when you have like a nationwide celebration like that, you get to see how each community's personality comes out and what they're so proud about. So we'll see more.
Good. Are there any opportunities that you think that we have not yet touched here in Northeast Tennessee when it comes to tourism?
We always get asked that. Leaders get asked that, tourism offices, and a lot of times we hear like year-round attraction type thing. And what is that? Is it a major concert venue? Now we have Hard Rock, so maybe we've checked that box. Or is it, a theme park or something like that? And you hear that. I think there's so much more to come here. I think we're in the middle of just this growth period, and it's exciting. And then, all of a sudden you hear Bristol Motor Speedway's putting together a baseball game. Stuff like that opens doors, and it impacts us for years and years to come. And it started with the Battle of Bristol. So I think just being outside of the box and being, is that a crazy idea? Let's do it. I think that's what we're known for here. So probably I would have to say something that we can all do year round. I don't know what that could be. There could be a lot of different things.
So do you have any exciting plans for the next year in tourism?
We've lots and lots of new events coming forward. Kingsport's bringing in a lot of neat conferences and events. They're kind of becoming like the dog show capital. So if you're into dogs, look at Kingsport's counter, because they have a lot of national shows there. I think concerts are going to be big. A lot of folks are concentrating on music. And so with us, Northeast Tennessee Tourism, a lot of times while we don't produce these events and put them on in our realm, we work with the communities and the tourism offices that do. So we always get to be part of the planning to end stage, and it's fun to see. So we could be thinking there might be something on the horizon that we don't even know about, and they'll throw it together in a year. But one thing that's been really neat that's grown since the pandemic has been holidays in Northeast Tennessee. So it's been neat to see a lot of the holiday exhibits, and we just started advertising for holidays 2 years ago. We were not doing that, and so I think that's going to grow this year.
You mentioned the pandemic. You also mentioned the hurricane earlier. I wanted to talk about that just briefly. How did the hurricane affect tourism in our area, and have we recovered yet from that? I
wouldn't say that. Obviously Greene, Carter, and Washington were definitely hit the most, and Unicoi, and Unicoi has not. Let's face it, hopefully we'll be out in the white waters this year. I know those companies are just ready to go. That does take a lot of time. And first and foremost, people who are residents, they lost lives, they lost land, they lost community. And so you have to get that back before we come on board. And so we want to make sure when the time is right. But, this year I think might be the year of, okay, we can breathe. It's, we're almost back, or we're back. And, but it'll be specific to those communities that were hit the hardest. And, they have to have time to recover emotionally and physically too.
Okay. And do you get calls from people, I guess, around the country asking if this particular area of Northeast Tennessee has recovered so they can go visit it?
Thankfully that has stopped,
Okay.
but oh my goodness. When the hurricane first happened, I heard y'all were wiped off the map, and you hate to hear that, because like just 10 minutes away, you have off Interstate 81, no problem to get here. And that was a big messaging thing that we all worked together with the state of Tennessee to get that out there when the time is right for folks. But those calls have stopped, thank goodness. But we also don't want to forget what happened. We don't want to forget the struggles and the championism that came out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully, we just started kind of marketing Whitewater again. So hopefully that will end all of those questions that we may get. But it was also great because so many journalists and just connections from across the world reached out to us. Are you okay? What can I do? So it just showed, how great the tourism community is, and how we might compete, but we all stick together.
Okay. Just a couple fun little questions before we end. What is your favorite hidden gem in the region?
Okay. My favorite hidden gem. Well, I want to say it's Ridgewood Barbecue, but I feel like a lot of people know about it because you can't hardly get in the doors. I'm from that community, and I was raised on it, and my goodness, a blue cheese, I'd eat it all day. I love it. Tennessee Hills, they're not a gem, they're not a hidden gem, but absolutely amazing people. I went to the same college as Stephen and Jessica, and was in Jonesboro when they started their first one, so it's been great to watch them grow. But I'm not gonna, I don't want to mention it, but Hickory Tree Grocery is a hardcore staple for the locals, and I absolutely love it. Ate there last night, pancakes on Saturdays. That's where we send those content creators that have a really fun following and really niche market. So
okay, and for a first-time visitor, where is the first place they need to visit?
It depends on what city they're going to go to, but if you're a first-time visitor, we will absolutely tell you to hit the main attraction. So we're going to tell you to go do a tour, some track laps at Bristol Motor Speedway, maybe do some hiking either at Buffalo Mountain, or go up to see the rhododendrons in Carter County, or go to see a waterfall. Waterfalls are huge this time of year. And then, of course, birthplace of country music. So you pick your poison, right? We can do a history tour, outdoor tour, shopping tour, downtown tour. It doesn't matter. We'll try to find that fit for you. We get a lot of calls just like, I'm interested in this. What should I do? And we're like, oh, how long do you have? We'll tell you the world.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming today.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, great.
Thank you.